Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and get started with our building reports and students of the month.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. This is probably our most enjoyable part of our agenda. In fact, it is the most enjoyable part of the agenda. We're going to do our building reports. With the building reports, we also have our students of the month. And with that, after everybody is said and done, we'll have all 5 buildings represented. After those 5 buildings, we'd like to get pictures. We'll have a group picture with all the students of the month. They'll be asked to wear masks since we can't social distance at that point. And then we'll get pictures with the student and the principal, with masks. And then after, we can take pictures of the family without masks since you're all in the same household. So sorry about all the details with COVID and that crazy stuff, but we're trying to do our best to limit the spread of that and follow the guidelines set forth by Marion County. But again, please stay, and then afterwards we'll get all those pictures taken. Mrs. Stevens will take care of that. So we're so happy to see you tonight. And we'll get started. We're going to start a little different tonight. We'd love to start with the high school. So we'll start at the top and go down. So Ms. Mara, our assistant principal at the high school, welcome. How about that?
Did I know this is also your first board meeting?
It is. Yeah. So hi, I'm Lauren Meyer, one of the assistant principals at the high school, for those of you who don't know me. So we'll start off with a sports report from the high school. So over fall break, we had a lot of fun stuff going on. We were able to host our first girls soccer sectional on our new turf field, which was really cool. We hosted our volleyball sectionals. We also had our football, cheerleading, band, and guard senior night. So a lot of cool things happening for our community, which is really nice. And then a couple of upcoming events, football sectionals at Lebanon, and then our girls basketball tryouts have started. We're really excited about our new coach and the energy that she's bringing and the entire staff. So pretty exciting. We have testing season that has started. ACTs happened today for our seniors. PSAT will be happening next Tuesday for our juniors. It's always exciting. And then we are excited about this new tradition, Trunk or Treat. Hopefully all of you guys have heard about that, and the challenge to each of the schools and also the school board. So on October 28th from 5 to 7 in the high school parking lot, we will have cars decorated. It's an event that will be open to the entire community, but children will be able to trick or treat at decorated cars. So hopefully everyone will be participating. We'll have representatives from each of the school with, like I said, the decorated cars. We will also be taking candy donations from anyone, but we're really excited. It's being sponsored by our student council, which, again, we really want to thank Ms. Carrie Wood and Mr. Dion Smith. They are new student council representatives, and they have really taken the student council in a great direction. They've done an awesome job with our student council. A lot of energy, a lot of creative events. They've done a great job recruiting kids. They're really excited about it. So hopefully you guys will participate. We'd love to see our school board members participate too. So again, that's October 28th from 5 to 7, and it's open to the community. So on to our student of the month. We have Miss Imani Ballinger right over here. Come on up. Come show us who you are. And we also have Mr. Ballinger, her dad here. So thank you to you, because you have a great daughter. So everyone at the high school thinks so. So she was actually nominated by 2 teachers, which doesn't happen a lot at the high school. So we have Miss Cook here. She was one of the teachers that nominated her. Miss Cook said, "Imani is one of the sweetest students I have ever had. She comes to school and tries her hardest to do well in school, even though sometimes it's a struggle to manage her responsibilities. She plays on the volleyball team, she does winter guard, she works part-time at Olive Garden, etc. She is a very busy young lady. She is my classroom helper, and I trust her completely to do what I need her to do. She helps the younger students during her helper block, passes back papers, etc. Imani displays an empathy for others that is not very common. She puts others' needs in front of her own, even when she feels bad or is stressed out. She always wants to help people around her. I feel honored to have such a wonderful young lady as my student and my helper. And then Ms. Fangman is the other teacher that nominated her, and she said Amani exhibits all of the greatest qualities of a BGS student. She is involved in 2 year-round activities and 2 seasonal sports. While she is an incredible student, her dedication to athletics and academics is only outmatched by her ability to uplift the people around her. Her most unwavering positivity can be seen and experienced by everyone she interacts with throughout the day. She is a remarkable young lady who is bound for amazing things in this world. I cannot wait to see what her future holds. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Morrow. Mr. Morgan from Beech Grove Middle School.
Didn't know if we were going to go out of order,
No,
so.
gotta change things up.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for allowing us to be here today. Again, exciting to have Student of the Month back again here today. So I want to start with an athletic update from the middle school. We were really proud of all of our fall sports teams, but specifically our girls cross country team ended up winning conference. So we wanted to celebrate those students, and the coach, Donna Webster, did a wonderful job with those young ladies. They continued to grow through the season. I think we saw a lot of PRs towards the end, which just shows all the dedication and growth that they had. So Abigail Webster was one of the runners, Harper Moore, Lila Muffler, Layla Cranfill, and Jada Cranfill, Aaliyah Buendia, and Mackenzie Fedler were those 7 runners. So we're really proud of them. We're going to be starting our winter sports season. Basketball tryouts were this week, Monday and Tuesday. So we will find out tomorrow who's on our team. So we're excited about that. Our HEA has had a successful 9 weeks as well. Really proud. We did a report here for our AB Honor Roll students that I'll get to here in a second, but we had multiple students from our HEA, which is our alternative program, that made the AB Honor Roll. So these students, a lot of these students struggled with attendance last year, which again, not always their fault with everything that was going on. So we had placed them right away in HEA, and they had just really blossomed. So we had 4 students that graduated at the 9 weeks. Again, really proud of those students. And then going into our honor roll report, we had 114 students in 7th and 8th grade that made the AB honor roll. So we were really proud of them. We're going to have a pizza party for them beginning of next week. So I'll send you guys an email, and if you are free around lunchtime, we'll invite you to that. We have a couple of activities planned, but really proud of those students. And then I would be remiss not to thank both Walmart and Firestone. They have donated hundreds of dollars of materials for our kids. So we've been able to share those with Hornet Park, Central, South Grove, the high school, and just really appreciative of those partners that we have. Now, on to our favorite part. Beech Grove Middle School is proud to recognize Miss Clara Gimlicks. Can you come up here, Clara? Clara is a 7th grader for us, so she is new to us this year, but has already made a tremendous impact. So we had 2 teachers that nominated her, and one of those teachers is here today, Mrs. Keller. So Mrs. Keller wrote about Clara, saying that she's an exceptionally nice young lady. She is polite, friendly, and a great role model to the other students in class. When Clara struggles with a concept, she is quick to ask questions to help her solve the problem. Clara is well behaved and a delight to have in science. Clara can always be counted on to do the right thing and set the example of being a great Hornet. Ms. Witzeman says, Clara has been a strong role model for other students since the beginning of the year. She's attentive, hardworking, and eager to learn. Clara frequently volunteers in class, always raises her hand before speaking, and finishes her work on time. When other students are having difficulties grasping a concept in math class, Clara is always willing to help others. She embodies all of the qualities of a model Hornet. We just want to thank you, Clara, for the positive impact you've already made at Beech Grove Middle School. Thank you.
Mr. Morgan, Mrs. Fleming from South Grove.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. On Friday, our 5th grade will be experiencing a hands-on field trip on site within our walls entitled STEM Takes Flight. The plan is to bring real-world connections from the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics and the Rolls-Royce Company to our 5th grade students. Multiple stations will be set up and will incorporate STEM by allowing students to experience the engineering process through designing, constructing, testing, and modifying or adapting their activities. This was all because one of our teachers, Judy Ray, is a member of the AIAA and has made that connection for us. So we're very excited about that opportunity. You're welcome to join us. It'll be from 9 to 3. We're also excited that starting next week, South Grove will be hosting UIndy teaching candidates from 2 different courses. One is the Transdisciplinary Humanities and STEM course, and the other is Integrated STEM. There will be 34 teaching candidates working with teachers and students this semester at South Grove. For the Transdisciplinary Humanities and STEM course, 26 UIndy candidates will be paired together in 4th and 5th grade classrooms, teaching a total of 6 lessons with guidance from our amazing educators. The 8 candidates remaining in the integrated STEM class will observe and assist in grade 6 classes and then teach in our STEAM lab during related arts for 6th grade. This is obviously a great opportunity for our current students, but also for retaining and recruiting quality professionals as our teachers model exemplary teaching and learning. As you know, we've offered several clubs after school for the past grading period. We'll continue to do so, but this coming grading period, the current grading period, I guess, robotics club will be offered 3 times instead of 4, allowing Mondays and then Wednesdays to be open for reading success sessions. We had 21 students who did not pass iRead as 3rd graders who will be invited to join this tutoring opportunity. Next week is National Red Ribbon Week. The theme is Drug-Free Looks Like Me. We'll have activities planned for community meeting time, and Ms. Hendricks from the Coalition will join us on Friday for a school-wide Google Meet to share information and answer questions from the students. Now on to celebrations. Congratulations to our 5th and 6th grade football champs. They had a phenomenal season and showed their Hornet pride both on and off the field. Also, we conducted our first Culver's fundraiser, raising $674.39 for our students. Like the middle school, we're very grateful to Walmart, who donated 2 pallets of goodies for teachers and students to be able to use throughout the year. And then Point of Hope Apostolic Church donated about a dozen book bags filled with supplies for our students. The Beech Grove Police Department Shop with a Cop program donated a tub of supplies for our students and teachers as well. Now on to one of our biggest celebrations, South Grove Student of the Month. Please join me in congratulating Miss Peyton Kelly, a 4th grade student. Peyton is a wonderful young person. Mrs. Case, one of her teachers, shared, Peyton is an absolute joy to be around. She is kind and helpful. She seeks to understand not only her schoolwork, but also the individuals she is around. She is always up for a challenge and puts forth her best effort. Mrs. Umbenhauer adds, Peyton is always doing what is asked of her. She never argues and is a wonderful friend and student. She works very hard, she works with anyone and everyone, and she maintains a positive attitude. Peyton daily demonstrates our school-wide expectations, respect, responsibility, and readiness. She's a great role model for her peers. So Peyton, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fleming. Ms. Cotter from Central Elementary.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me this evening. It's so nice to be with you. I am pleased to share that fall conferences were a huge success again this year. we offered our families the virtual option or to come in the building. Most of them chose virtually, which is understandable. It's been easier. So that was a blessing that came out of COVID last year, because we have connected with so many of them to share their students' successes and areas of growth. There's a few families that we continue to reach out to so that we can obtain that 100%, but we're almost there. So huge thank you to the teachers, parents, family members for all engaging in that practice. Again, with parent engagement, our Title I intervention staff hosted 2 meetings today, one this morning and one this evening, and we had tons of parents engage with those ladies as well to hear about all the intervention successes that have been going on at Central. So thank you again to the community members and family members that are joining us via Google Meets. We're going to continue to roll that out. We want to offer families to come in the building or accommodate meeting virtually as well, whatever's easiest. We will make that presentation available via our social media platforms so that we can reach everyone. So if you're interested in hearing more about our Title I programs, please log on to our Facebook account or our Instagram page. Thank you to Amanda Witt, who got us going on that. I'm pleased to announce the book fair will be back at Central this year. Yay! We skipped last year, but we are back in action next week. So I can't wait to see all the kiddos pick the books and smell them, then just sift through the pages. Everybody knows what a fresh new book smells like. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited. We are also offering an e-wallet version, which we're hopeful that many parents will engage with. They can basically load their child's account. So instead of giving them cash or coins if you're afraid that they're going to lose their money, you can preload their account via the e-wallet. Another option is to purchase books online and then have them shipped directly to the home. Books make wonderful Christmas presents, as we know, and this is a nice way to not only support the school, but also get the kiddos reading. So hopefully those will be successful as well. And then finally, I want to, Dulcie, could you come out and hear this too? I want to celebrate our cafeteria manager, Lana Wiseman. She's not here with us tonight. I wish I would have invited her, and I might have to next time. But at the beginning of the school year, we didn't have a cafeteria manager. And this is like days before school started. And then Dulcie found someone, right? But then we lost that person too. So we were like, ooh, we got to start school. We got to feed a bunch of kids. What are we going to do? And Lana did not want to take that position. She was our cook last year. She did phenomenal for us, but she was like, that's not my thing. I knew she was the person for the job. Dulcie definitely knew she was the person for the job. She just needed a little convincing. And she has done a phenomenal job. As you all know, working in an elementary school cafeteria is not easy. It's definitely not easy being short-staffed. It's even more difficult when we have a paper shortage and we no longer have trays, and so our little kids are holding a paper plate and carrying it all the way to their table. She has done outstanding, Lana has, for us. And I just wanted to celebrate her, and so if you see her in the community, she also has Beech Grove kiddos. Please tell her thank you and how much we love and support her. So I would love to transition to my Student of the Month, but she's not here yet. So hopefully if Ma E, our 3rd grade Student of the Month, shows up, I will pop back up. Is that okay, Dr. Bear? Perfect. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much.
As you can see, this is our favorite time, and you can see why, hopefully. Just remember, please stay around, keep mask on. We'll get pictures right after that with Mrs. Stevens. So the table's all yours, Mrs. Probus.
Hey, everybody. Good evening. I'm Erin Probus, the principal at Hornet Park Elementary School, and I'm so pleased to see you all. The boys and girls have returned from fall break refreshed, and they remember how we do school, and it's been so great to get back in the swing of things. So I want to share with you a little bit about students, teachers, and then the Early Childhood Center progression. So first, our students and our teachers worked really hard right before break, as did in all buildings, to do those first quarter assessments. At K1, most of those are one-on-one and take a lot of time, but we get really great information. And so teachers collected that, kiddos worked really hard, and then we were able to share that through 2 means with our families. One, as Mrs. Cotter was sharing, was a really successful round of parent-teacher conferences. Echoing what she said, most families selected virtual conferences. A few came in and some needed to be on the phone, which was okay as well. But we had, right now I have a couple of teachers still to report, but we're at 96% success rate. So we're getting close, right? We want that 100. But then also we distribute at Hornet Park, instead of traditional report cards, parents get individual data dashboards. And so it gives your child's performance on a very specific skill, then it gives a goal target for this time of year and specifically what they need to work on to move kind of levels within that skill. So that's all been received from our parents and collected by our hardworking students. So proud of them. Then those awesome teachers of ours are super reflective. I think they're great teachers, but the only way you stay great or get better is to be a reflective practitioner. And so we are wrapping up the first round of evaluations, which are a video observation process. So every teacher in the district, but at Hornet Park, we're finishing up where they record a lesson and they sit down with an ILT member to discuss it and identify reinforcements and refinements. And it's been a really wonderful practice this round. Then next week, we'll kind of continue that conversation through individual S2S, system-to-system meetings with me. And so I look forward to having that. It will stem from what happens tomorrow and Thursday, which are our first quarter data discussions, where teachers and teams will sit down and look at that data they just recently collected and help it inform instructional decisions for the next several weeks. So exciting, exciting. Then a random announcement that doesn't fit in those three categories nicely is that we have shifted to have a virtual grandparents evening celebration. That'll be the first week of November. Felt with that population, it might not be quite time yet, but soon, 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 we will have the building, we hope, filled with wonderful guests again. But Melody has sent that out and will continue to blast out the virtual grandparents celebration. All right, and I just want to update you on the work happening behind the scenes, not what you're seeing in the front of Hornet Park, but the preparations for the inside of the walls for the Early Childhood Center. So because of a lot of help with Mrs. Reed and Margaret Stanley and Dr. Bear and Rita Bass and Dr. Hammock, tons of folks, we have now completed step one, and that is to apply as a legally licensed exempt center provider. And so what that means is once we're approved, we will then qualify to receive CCDF or Child Care Development Funds, which will just be a way to help families be able to afford and participate in our preschool. The next step, so I've submitted that as soon as we get that approval, which I wanted it to be like 10 seconds later. Apparently you have to be patient. We will switch over and start working towards what they call Paths to Quality, and that opens up another form of, another kind of flow of funding for families called On My Way Preschool Vouchers. So things are rolling behind the scenes. We're moving along quite nicely. So that is very exciting. But tonight, I also want to celebrate a Palma Student of the Month. So I'd like to invite Aubrey Palma up as our Student of the Month. Oh my goodness. All right, you have a job as I read the wonderful comments about Aubrey. You have to keep a tally of how many times you hear the phrase ray of sunshine. Okay? All right, here we go. From Mrs. Hamlin. She says, oh, sweet Aubrey Palma. She's just a little ray of sunshine and is always ready to help others. She likes to hang out in my classroom after school and will cook me snacks in the kitchen area and tell me all about her day. She is a friend to all and extra sweet to our special education babies. That matters so very much. Love this kid. For Mrs. Dimmick, she's a sweet girl and a little ray of sunshine. Always quick to flash her cute little smile when the mask comes down. For Mrs. Jennings, I'm not joking, Aubrey is a little ray of sunshine. And our halls at Hornet Park. She's always smiling and acting like a hornet, just everywhere and always. Aubrey knows Hornet Park like the back of her hand, and she's eager to run an errand and help out both students and staff. Congratulations, Aubrey and the Palma family. Mrs. Byland said, love this kid. She's so sweet and willing to explain to other kids that her mom and I are not the same person. Mrs. Doran says she's a sweet little girl and she helped me move my desk so that I wouldn't have to lift anything heavy. Mrs. Doran is great with child right now. And Miss Rader says, sweet Aubrey is a little ray of sunshine. She's the best helper, willing to help out whenever, wherever, an amazing friend, always ready to learn, no matter what. Student of the Month, also known as Little Ray of Sunshine, daughter of Amanda and Carl Palma, Aubrey Palma.
If I could have the 4 students of the month that are here to be back by the corner, we'll take the group photo first, and then each school, and then that way parents and kids can leave after the school is done, okay? So we'll do principal and then family after the group photo. So we'll go right over here by the corner. Yeah. So let's have the Aubrey.
I changed my mask to look like I'm smiling because the other one was gray. And I wondered. I think it was the
All right, let me see everybody's
That's the Christmas card right there.
Good job. All right.
get started again, please, with the curriculum update.
All right, well, thank you very much. Kind of some exciting things I put in the curriculum update. Just want to kind of give you a update on 2 grants that are in its final year, and that is enroll in our Prevention Matters grant, and we have $53,000 remaining in that grant, and that was a $250,000 grant that we've had for the last 4 years. And so we've been, that money is for traveling, curriculum, all kinds of good things. So we've trained Logan Duffy. He is now the only person teaching the life skills program at South Grove. And he received training this fall, and that's an online virtual training. And then Julia Ping she's been teaching a couple of years at 7th and 8th grade in middle school. And then we have a new teacher, Rachel Saylor, teaching at the high school. That used to be distributed through all these different classes, and that's our Too Good for Drugs program. And so she had training in Boston this week.
Oh, good.
And so the grant pays for all the travel, and so it's kind of a nice experience for her to get to go out there. And it's like a one-day training, but she's there for 3 days, the night before, the day after. So thank you to Prevention Matters. That's a Richard Fairbanks Foundation that provided that $250,000 that we really had some real positive things. And then our Beech Grove Comprehensive Drug Coalition, we work very closely with them in our programming, and their intent is to help support the curriculum as we move forward. And it won't cover all of the curriculum, but that's some of their fundraising goes towards our programs. So they have a really vested interest in our programs here. They sort of are a lot of drug Red Ribbon Week. I had all this red on my mind. So we're just excited about that grant, and it's in the final year of 4, so that's pretty exciting, and we've got a lot of great things in place that we're going to continue. Another major grant is the Lilly Grant, which is another $250,000 grant that we've had over the last 4 years, and this is its final year also. And that is our comprehensive counseling grant. So currently we have about 8 to 9 employees on their way back from St. Charles, Missouri. They've been there since Sunday night, and all of that training was and travel was covered by the Lilly Grant. And so they're out there at a Trauma-Informed Schools Conference, the TISC conference, which is one of the most renowned Trauma-Informed Schools Conference there is. It's a lot of great resources. So we have 9 employees, a lot of the counselors from about 2 or 3 from each building. So some great experiences out there and a chance to bond with the other counselors throughout the district. So they're on their way home, so we're hoping for safe travels there. Also, a part of that Lilly Grant is a book study that we're doing with Calvin Day. It's a kind of an equity, diversity-based book study that we had, and we had over 50 people sign up for that district-wide, and we've had a nice turnout and had some good conversations there too. So those are just some of the things that the grant funds, and as I said, there's $96,000 left with that, and believe it or not, our counselors like to spend money. So it's great because they're getting a lot of things that will continue to support their initiatives that are going on in their building. So it's been a blessing to have these 2 grants for the last 4 years. There's been a lot of great things going on that the grants cover, but it's also a lot of work to manage those. So it's fun to see all the hard work that our staff has put in place, and these are now the new expectations and the new. Our teachers have done so well with things like Calm Classroom, Mindful Moments. Those are all part of that Lilly Grant. And over the 4 years have been a part of building that foundation in the district. So very exciting, and it's also, as we're finishing, it's just neat to see how they've just become embedded in what we do in Beech Grove City Schools. So with that being said, those are just 2 big grants that are in their final year. So some fun, it's kind of fun being able to spend money to help programs. Also exciting things at our high school is that they welcomed 36 new students to the National Honor Society, and so that was always a fun night. We had a virtual junior achievement job fair, career fair, and that was virtual this year. In the past, we've taken all of our 8th graders down on buses to the fairgrounds, and they have a really well-coordinated program, as Mr. Morgan will attest to, and This year and last year also, well, last year was virtual, the year before they canceled, but we had it's just a great opportunity for those kids to experience all the jobs that are here in Central Indiana. So, and then again, just the professional development clusters and PLCs are just up and running and doing a lot of positive things with technology, safe schools training, and restorative practice strategies. So just, our teachers are being provided a lot of professional development and doing a great job with that. So things are really up and running, and, after fall break, it's a quick sprint to Christmas break and the end of the first semester. So it's pretty exciting to hear about the performance assessments going on and that we're already a solid 9 weeks in and ready to finish the next 9 weeks. So that's kind of the main things that's happening in the world of curriculum right now.
That's a lot. Okay, thank you so much. Melody, community relations.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. It seems like a long time ago that the Fall Festival happened, but it was just last month. It seems like a long time, but it was a real success, our booth was, and thanks to everybody that volunteered, especially Dr. Hammock, who volunteered on her birthday. So that was really great, and it was a very, very hot Friday and Saturday. I was very relieved when Gina Fleming showed up to relieve me from my shift because I was like dripping sweat. It was just a really hot day, but it was really great. And then during the Fall Festival Parade, we had our Marching Hornets and our JROTC who marched, and they looked fantastic. Really did us proud that day, so it was great. A couple things that I'm working on. I'm working on a draft of a visual identity, kind of a branding project for Beech Grove City Schools. So I'm anxious to share. I've got some things to share with Laura next week and see if she likes it, and then go from there. But I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I think now is the time. So I'm really excited about that. Also, we're going to hold our community Thanksgiving dinner, but it'll be a little bit different this year. We decided we wanted to make sure everybody was safe. So what we're going to do that Monday, the 22nd of November, is invite our senior citizens in from 4:30 to 5:30 to actually have a sit-down meal. And so because they miss that social interaction. And so we're going to do that for them. And then starting at 5:30 to 7, we will invite community members in, but they have got to just pick up their meals. They'll be all takeout meals. So they will not be sitting, because those of you who have attended know that it's a huge crowd, and we would not be able to social distance the way that we need to. So we're going to do that. So we're excited. We're excited to see how it works out and kind of go from there. I know we talked about the Veterans Plaza. Been working on that. I want to catch you up a little bit on that too. I'm going to catch Laura up with it too. But I have been working on that, identifying some working committee members and things like that. So I'm excited about that coming up. And then for the Education Foundation, the District Arts Show is going to take place finally after 2 years, a 2-year absence. We will have it on Tuesday, May 17th, 4 to 7 at the Hornet Park Community Center. So we're really excited about that and bringing that back, because it's a real highlight for our students, our art teachers, our whole Beech Grove community. So we're excited about that. So a couple highlights.
Awesome. Okay. We just need a motion to approve the minutes from September. I move to approve the minutes from September. That's regular meeting and work session. Yes. Okay. And a second? Second. Thank you. Any questions on those? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passed. And do we have any public comment tonight? I don't believe. Okay. Thank you. And business update, please.
First motion is just to pay some bills back.
Do you want to do all of these separately?
I'll explain the second one, but then the third one, I don't think you need to go through every one of those resolutions.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So basically, the first motion is really just the docket for the September expenditures. The 2022 budget was presented in a PowerPoint format and also paper format last month. There hasn't been any feedback. And then after tonight, you'll have a resolution called the Form 4. And I'll have 3 days to upload that to Gateway. I should probably be able to make that, so that's good. And then all those resolutions, there's a couple of new ones this year, such as interest on temporary loans, and that's a tax anticipation warrant. I had to give the exact dollar of interest, which is a new law this year. Other than that, they're the similar balancing of the budget throughout the school year that I typically am doing with Dr. Hammond.
Okay, so we need a motion, please, to approve the September bills. So moved. And a second? I'll second. Any questions on that? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passed. And we need a motion to approve the 2022 budget that was presented in September hearing. Thank you, Rob. And a second? I'll second. Thank you, Janice. All, any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passed. Excellent. And now we need a motion to approve the resolutions relating to the 2022 budget.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second it.
And a second. Any questions on that one? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passed. Thank you.
And those should come to you if they haven't already. I think it takes the board president and secretary on every resolution, but only the Form 4 has to have everyone's signature, and secretary has to sign in the regular area and the text.
I got it.
2 times. So,
Yeah, and check where you voted as well on that, so.
yeah.
And it is coming around. There was a big stack to sign.
Yeah.
There's some that are front and back. I don't know if those were just for Jill or I.
The front back ones were just you and I.
Okay.
I've got the stack for everybody else. I'll hand it to Rob.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, superintendent update.
Yeah, it is showing fall break in our personnel report because it is teeny tiny. There just isn't that much to ask for your approval tonight. So it's all that I have is to ask for your approval of the employment recommendations that are listed in your personnel report.
Okay, we have a motion. Any second? I'll second. Thank you. Were there any questions about that? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passed. And operations.
I'll give you a brief update of a couple of items, and then performance services, Doug Franklin, Terry, an update on a situation at Hornet Park that we'll talk about here at the end. So, Hornet Park, we talked a little bit about this the last couple of meetings, has a roof deck that is in fairly bad shape. We've engaged with not performance services, but moisture management to coordinate with performance so we can replace that roof next summer. So we'll put that out to bid here in November. Get out everything situated and ready to go, hopefully for June 1st. We have to do it that early because the supply chain is so messed up. So even if we bid it and award it in December, it's still cross your fingers. So it is cheaper than the original estimate because they're going to be 2 less roof decks, little small portions that are being taken off as a result of the addition. So, it needs to be done, and we can do it with the ESSER funds. At South Grove, the roof itself is done, so it is watertight. The only thing that lacks is the roof cap, and that requires their metal fabricators to come out, and they should be on site next week. So all of the disruptions are over, hopefully. I included a picture of Hornet Park, this one for you, and it requires a little explanation. That is me standing inside a classroom with my camera pointed up. And what you see on the other side is sunlight. So that is the corrugated roof deck that had rusted through, and there were several sections on that part of the roof that got replaced. So hopefully we got it all taken care of. And then they applied some rust inhibitors, so we should be in good shape there for hopefully 25 or 30 years. We've also engaged, signed a contract last board meeting with the construction company out of Greenwood. We had a meeting the other day and set some priorities, two of those being steam roof at Hornet Park, or not at Hornet Park in South Grove, that's a stage conversion, and room 114 at the middle school. So we will be moving forward on those as soon as we can. At the middle school, cafeteria tables, which are part of ESSER and CARES Act, as well as the renovation, those are scheduled to arrive on November 1st. That will help maximize space and social distancing. We did find the auxiliary gym leak, and that has been taken care of. And with as much rain as we had over break, Dale and his guys were over there every day. We have moisture monitors for the floor. We were within the thresholds the entire time, so we're confident that we've gotten that solved. The high school greenhouse, just talking to Jerry, it's virtually done. So I included a couple pictures of that, as well as the Hornet Park progress. So it's pretty impressive building, the greenhouse. So if you ever get a chance to go over and wander through, it's pretty neat. So we ran into a problem at Hornet Park. And the problem that we ran into was and you all can correct this when you get out, was in pouring the foundation and the piers that go into the ground, they ran into a 50-foot wide, 90-foot long pool that did not show up in any surveying data that it's still, I mean, we know that it was there at one point, but the survey data did not show that it still existed. And the boring samples that they took did not either. So with that, and some further more engineering and architectural explanation.
So like a swimming pool?
The old Olympia Club, yeah.
Yeah, the Olympia Club.
They apparently filled in, they didn't demo it.
Okay.
I just assumed he was talking about high water kids.
I had no idea.
Yeah, a little more introduction. So as you know, the community center at Beech Grove has city pool at one time. And that's posted there a photograph, an aerial image from last winter. That's quite some time ago that shows the old pool. So, standard practice is you remove things before you put a building on them, right? So, apparently, when they built portions of the Hornet Park School, they did not remove the pool. They actually built over the top of it, so it still remains. So they filled over the top, placed foundations directly on the pool, and we didn't discover that until we finally got to the point of excavating deep enough where we actually did that at the bottom of that pool. So we were doing, I think, sewer work, right? We actually discovered the wall of the pool that existed. We hit the wall with the sewer line, and then subsequently, when we discovered the wall, we said, well, we need to do some more investigation to see is it just the wall remaining or the whole pool bottom? We were speculating the pool bottom was gone, but no, that's not the case. The pool bottom still exists in its entirety, apparently. And so The diagram that Doug, and you might actually, I'll turn it over to you, Doug, to talk about some of the logistical things of this. The diagram that Doug handed out there, this shows a couple of things. The blue line represents that boundary of the current buildings of the community center and existing North Park Elementary. And then the green outline shows where our addition will be. And this is a little messy because it's got our aggregate pier locations, the foundation information, and all that on it. And then you can see the light blue shade then there is the boundary of what was the original pool location. So you can see it kind of sets, I would say, 60% probably under the existing building, and then there's a little sliver there in front of what would have been the old front doors of Hornet Park that still exist. And so we did soil borings ahead of time, and we usually do that first to uncover what the soil conditions are for the design putting properly. But we didn't have any borings that were close enough to the building that actually hit the pool. We missed them. We missed the pool. So we didn't know it was there until we did the excavation work. So from there, I'll let Doug kind of pick up an additional conversation about the logistics of it.
Yeah. So as Jerry alluded to, again, Doug Franklin, Associate Architect with Performance Services. Thank you, board members. Thank you, school leadership. A lot of great things, obviously, with Student of the Month, so exciting stuff. And glad to see some of the activities you talked about as far as the Thanksgiving and helping the community with great events that are taking place. So as Jerry touched upon, the first thing we try to do is get as much data and information about the site as we can. Nothing showed up on a survey drawing. Nothing showed up on an existing drawing that we had from your addition previously back in 2001 where that section to the south was built. So then we obviously we do soil borings on site to help determine what the soil conditions are. And it uncovered that there's bad soil on this site. So we knew we were going to have to use what we call an aggregate pier for the floor slab and the foundations. Sorry, if you don't mind, I'll take this off. Thank you. So what those dots represent, the aggregate piers are basically 2-foot diameter columns, and those go down, it varies between 8 to 16 feet in depth throughout. And that provides us enough support for the footing foundations and the columns so the building doesn't start to settle and sink. We chose this method because it's very costly to remove all of that bad soil, come back in with good material, and then pour the concrete and all your foundation work. So this was the option that was selected, but as Jerry talked about, nothing appeared on our soil borings that we had for the building around the site. And then we heard that there was a pool. As Jerry talked about, typically practice is you would remove that pool before you built anything on top of it. Well, as Jerry had mentioned, that pool was intact and we could have basically dug it out and filled it back up with water and been good to go. So this was all found while we were working around some sanitary water lines, and we did some more exploratory digging to see if, in fact, that the pool floor and side walls remained, or if it was just a spotty areas that we hit concrete. And unfortunately, we dug out a section just over 3,000 square feet of concrete and side walls of concrete for the pool edge. If you look at the photos, they're attached. I attached 3 pages of photographs. The first one just kind of outlines the area. We're down about 7 feet deep at this point out there now. So the first one is just kind of the edge. The second photo is just a pile of the concrete that was basically from the pool floor. And then the third image there is a portion of the wall and foundation in its entirety. You can see the thickness and the size of that pool wall that we encountered. So,
How
go ahead.
would they have possibly been able to build the existing building over it?
I don't know. Here's my thought on what happened when they started to build the new addition. Either they encountered it and said, we don't have the funds to remove this, or they weren't deep enough to hit that. So I don't know one way or the other, but nothing showed up on any of the existing drawings or that south addition that we had. Nothing was on the survey. That image I had passed out, the aerial image, as you can see, was pieced together. There's not a lot of information or old imagery of the pool in the locker room associated together. I tried to find and scrounge around and was able to come up with that image there with the help of Aaron and some old timers that drew a outline image of the pool where they thought it was. So we started out where we hit the concrete edge and then worked our way back, doing some exploratory digging to see if that was in fact the pool.
Because wouldn't even 25 years ago, 7 feet wouldn't be enough for the pier structure for the current building?
So no, we dug out to 7 feet deep.
Oh.
We didn't hit the concrete at that elevation, but we were down about 4 feet when we hit concrete.
Still.
I don't wonder, I guess I really don't.
I get what you're saying, it's quite disappointing. So, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. So yeah, it's just some images there of the what we've encountered, and then an image overlay. So what we've done this past week, I've had several meetings with engineers, structural engineers, geotech engineers, our earthwork contractors, our performance services team. And we've come up with a plan to remove the bad areas. The geopiers cannot be installed through the pool or on the pool. And it's just bad practice to build over an existing pool. One, we don't know what kind of soil is underneath the bottom of the pool. And we know now it was bad soil underneath the pool. It was kind of mucky material, as you can see from some of the photographs. So we come up with a plan to remove the areas where we're building, remove everything basically extends out of the perimeter where we're building. So all that has been removed down to depth, and we got to come back in with new compacted fill to bring that back up, and then we can start the aggregate piers and the foundation and concrete work.
Who built that building to begin with for us?
I don't know who the contractor or, Price, I think, was the civil engineer and architect in 2001, I believe is what was on the drawing. So they're still a company that they didn't, I don't know if they encountered it or not. I think you saw that flooding was sitting on top of the pool. We know at some point they encountered it and knew about it. So, but there was no evidence on their drawings up front. So they would have done design drawings, up front, and they had survey done. Their survey information doesn't indicate anything about a pool, and their civil drawings don't mention anything about a pool or moving anything related to the pool. So I don't believe that they knew there was a pool there initially when that project started. At least the design drawing told us we did.
And that wasn't common practice 25 years ago to just fill something in and build over it.
I mean,
Not back.
I can't speak for other people, but our engineering team pretty strongly said we're not gonna recommend that we leave that in place. It's not good practice.
None of the current surveys.
Foundation.
None of the current surveys or soil borings detected any of them?
Correct. So we did not. So the soil borings, we can't do them everywhere. There was like 20 for the whole campus as far as that, and then we coordinate the soil borings with the structural engineer, the civil engineer, and then the performance services team to make sure we have. We want a good variation, but none of the soil borings hit any of the pool or the locker room, the locker room slab or foundation work. So the borings associated with the site.
And we have to bring in how much dirt?
So right now we are, if you've been over there and taken a look, there's a big roller out there, and they're bringing in stone. It's called 53s. So that's brought in, compacted, and tested, and then more brought up to the full finished floor elevation so we can install the aggregate piers. So it's a process to bring it in, compact it, bring it in, compact it to that depth.
Did we find out about this? Did we discover this?
Yeah, we encountered it when we were doing some of the sanitary work and working around an existing water line.
Can you give me a date?
It was,
Tuesday, was it a month ago?
no, it was not a month ago. It was only probably, we're looking at 2 weeks at most.
So beginning of fall, we're
Yeah.
not, beginning of
Yeah.
October.
So how far does this push us back?
So right now, the aggregate piers were supposed to be completed last week, so Friday of last week. We are on schedule. We worked out through this past week, and we're on schedule for the aggregate pier company to be on site this coming 10/25, 10/26 is when they're going to be projected to be on site. So essentially on that scope of work, we're 2 weeks out. Now, there's a couple good things that we have going for us, and we're still trying to talk to Norm, the construction team. We're still maintaining and trying to make sure we make up that time if possible. One, we've got a lot of material on site. We've got the steel on site, we've got the columns on site, we've got the roofing material on site. So we're hoping, yes, this is a blip, but we're hoping to kind of still have that target end date not move.
What's the cost on having to do it this way?
So right now, the final cost of this scope of work, getting this removed and basically brought up to good, it's in the range right now, conservative. I want to give you a range because I don't have a final number, but we're anywhere between $80,000 to $100,000 of cost for that area.
How would the survey have picked that up? How should it have picked that up? Any potential?
Yeah, there's not really any way, if below grade, the survey will pick up the top of the ground, whatever is visible. Below grade, your only opportunity really is through boring. I mean, you don't normally do like ultrasonic soundings or anything unless you suspect something is there that you want to find, right? It's just not done because of the expense involved, and you just don't do that generally on projects. So, as Doug mentioned, we do borings, but we do a sampling across the site to really get a picture of the soil conditions so that we can design footings to meet the soil bearing pressures. And those are done strategically in the kind of what I call the footprint of our building additions. And sometimes we'll do it like under parking lots too, so we can understand soil where that is, as well as design pavement sections the right way. And so you're only going to get a boring and a grid every so often, and it could be a grid of say 50 feet or something like that. And we just didn't have it close enough to the building to hit this.
When you say this 80 to 100,000, is that the conservative estimate, or is that the estimate as a whole?
I'm hoping to be under that, but I'm just, kind of, we don't know kind of the magnitude yet because they're still working on it and finishing up. So that's our hope. And again, I'm hoping to be on the south side of that number. But,
that helps me, because
Yep.
I'm saying 80 to 100K is your conservative, but it could go up to $250,000.
I don't see that. I don't see that approaching that.
Here's my next question, and maybe you don't know. Civil and structural engineers, obviously, the borings on the current building potentially aren't deep enough. Is there going to be any issues with putting new borings next to that? Is there going to be an issue that we find later? Is the roof going to go bad on the old building because now there's...
The foundation's going to go weird because we've now pulled this out and upset so much ground and recontract, push it all down, because we are close. And this pool goes underneath a lot of things.
Because up until 2 weeks ago, the building was fine because the integrity was intact. Now we've messed with that. So the question is, with what we've done to do it the right way, is that going to screw up the old way?
It won't, because we are back far enough from that existing line that right now it should not interfere with anything on the existing side of the building. I can say in 15 years there may be settling where your existing building is still over the pool. I don't know if that's the case or not. I can't answer that.
And I'm guessing this is going to be not part of the guaranteed prices. You guys probably have an unforeseen clause in there somewhere, right?
That's correct. This is for the low grade stuff that's unknowable, and we can't cover that. They answer your question about, are you going to have to do it? I don't think we can say without 100% certainty we won't, but our engineers don't think so, because they wouldn't have recommended the solution moving forward if they thought that would be the case.
I thank you both very much. Certainly disappointing, but understanding that we're working through it, so. Okay. Anything else on, or was that your finale? Going out with a bang. Okay, thank you so much. I'll take a joint motion on these next two to approve donations and fundraiser requests.
I will move to approve donations for fundraisers.
I'll second. Thank you. Thank you all. Any questions on those? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Okay. Resolution for real estate. I'm excited.
Absolutely, and I'm really grateful to have the Wisconsin family with us this evening.
Thank you so much.
It has been just a true, I'm just so grateful that, as I have started the superintendency here at Beech Grove, that this process has really been with me, since my first night, sitting out in the audience. So I know that the board is very pleased and so grateful to the Wisconsin family for the opportunity to engage in property transfer. The resolution that has been presented to you all this evening has been drafted by Tammy Ortman. She is an attorney at Lewis Campus, and that resolution we can read in its entirety this evening if the board would like, or we can just ask for your approval of the resolution as presented, which allows for the process to be resolved, which is very exciting. Whichever direction you'd like me to go.
It was sent to us earlier today. Did anyone have a chance to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think there's a
I'm happy
need
to
to
read
read
it.
it. I don't feel that there's a need to read it again unless anyone had any questions about it. Okay. We need a motion to approve that resolution. Thank you so much, Beth. And we need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions on that? No. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passed. Thank you so much. We can't express enough thank yous.
Really grateful. Thank you so much.
Sorry to keep you so late. Are there any policy and guideline considerations tonight? I think there were. Committee and community reports. I had the pleasure and opportunity to go to C9. It is nice to go down there for their meetings and see our kids in action. They invite the students in from each individual program for a different program each night, and so we got to meet 3 young ladies from, not from Beech Grove, but from other schools, working through the occupational and physical therapy. And those girls, one is a senior and already has been accepted to UIndy. It's just really, those credits transfer, and it's a great opportunity, and I'm glad our kids get to do it. So that I'm just going to toot a little horn for C9 today. So, thank you for going. Yes. Anything else? Any others? Okay. I'm going to consider that my success story for the month too, because I thought it was really great. Are there any other success stories or anything anybody wants to share? I know it's kind of been a quiet week, 2 weeks, but certainly happy to hear all those. If not, we'll go ahead and adjourn, but don't get too up and moving. We're going to go right into our special public meeting so that our teachers can also get home at a decent time.
So I move we adjourn.
Thank you. A second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Adjourn. Thank you. And then we'll go right into our special public meeting, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Hemming for this one.
Sure, absolutely. And yeah, very grateful to have our leadership from the Beech Grove Classroom Teachers Association here this evening. As the board knows, this is, I believe it's the third year, yes, that we've had the extra requirements for some meetings in our bargaining process. This is the second of 3 meetings that need to be held that are, embraces the entire bargaining process. The first meeting was already held. That was the meeting where we had an opportunity for the public to come and offer feedback on the negotiation process. Tonight's meeting is an opportunity for the public to make comment on the tentative agreement. The tentative agreement stipulations have been posted to our website. That is a requirement per statute. And then the board is also required in a public meeting to hear feedback on the current tentative agreement that we have in place. You are then asked to have some time to think about any of the feedback that would be offered. And then once that time is resolved, we will get back together, just as a reminder, a week from today. We're going to do that by electronic meet, or I will be here if you would like to meet in person. And that will be the actual ask for the ratification of the teacher's contract. So
Not to interrupt, but we did change that one to 5:30.
5:30. Yeah, it's at 5:30 next Tuesday, and that Google Meet link should be out. If you don't have it, no worries, we can get it to you. Or we'll just see you here at 5:30. That is a public meeting, so we post for it as a public meeting. And yeah, so tonight really, you are just asked to hear public feedback from anyone who is wanting to regarding the tentative agreement.
I did want to take a moment to address the board. The board may remember last spring when you held the public hearing on the superintendent's contract. You assured me that it'd give you 6 months and we would be back to things. And it's been about 6 months, and I just had to come back to thank all of you. For the first time, not just with this contract. This contract has made such great strides. We all recognize we still have work to do when it comes to the contract. But more so than that, our teachers feel heard. Teacher morale is up in this district. Even teaching through a pandemic that is still continuing, children who are catching up from everything they've lost during the pandemic, our teachers are hopeful again. Our teachers are excited to be here again. Our teachers feel valued by this district again. And I don't know, and I need the board to understand, so much of that comes back to one person, and that is the superintendent. And I speak for all of the teachers in this district when I say we look forward to working with Dr. Hammock as our superintendent for years to come. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. I do want, that is so important to me that our teachers feel that, and to hear that is just very generous and nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
so
I
much,
just wanted to
because-
make sure you all heard from us and understood how much this means to us.
What did we say 6 months ago? Wait, okay. Please let it be good. So, thank you again. Wow, that's awesome. Is there any other, you can be public too. You're welcome to say anything else. If, again, I can't thank you and your teachers enough. And I know I say it every time. I don't want to sound like a broken record. It's just really sincerely important to me. So, and everybody. I think I speak for everybody on that one. So, thank you again. So, we opened up public meeting. I think we can just close that. We need to close that one right away. And thank you all very much. I don't like keeping you too late. Look, it's before 8. Thank you again. The rest of you can't get too comfy because we do have a work session. Oh, yes, yes.